Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Road, and in today's video we are going to be going over the top 22 best manual JDM cars for less than $10,000, because I was going to do $5,000 and then I was like, ooh, it's kind of hard to find 22 JDM manual cars for under $5,000, because like every time you think about a manual or a JDM car under 5K, you're always like, okay, I'll buy the automatic and swap it to manual, like an IS300 or something. But that's obviously not the case. These are going to be manual when you buy them for less than $10,000, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Song of the day is called "Bad at Love" by Halsey. It's a girly song, but Halsey slaps, man. I don't care who you are. Halsey always slaps. Halsey's abusive in my relationship, at least with her. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 22. Short intro today. Also, I am still a little bit sick. Okay, just a little bit. You know, like kind of teetering on the edge of sick. So if I do sound a little nasally, a little bit like Mike Wazowski, then that's the reason why, and I apologize. Without further ado, let's get right into it with number 22. And like I said, the only caveat here is that it has to be Japanese. It has to be manual. That's it, okay? I was going to do rear-wheel drive as well, but then again, it was kind of hard to find that. Either way, let's get right into it. Number 22. That is the Mazda RX-8. We show love to the Mazda RX-8 over here on the Mark Roden channel, where a lot of other channels, they don't show love to this bad mother jammer because of the unreliability factor of it. The car comes with a 1.3-liter two-rotor rotary engine making 212 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That's obviously, you know, sounds like a pretty good combination right there. 200 plus horsepower, rear-wheel drive, pretty good looks. Like I feel like most people would agree that the RX-8 does look good. So what's the downside, Mark? Why is it all the way here at the number 22 spot? Well, the reliability is definitely questionable. They are right. You know, that it is a rotary powered car. Almost every rotary powered car out there is pretty unreliable, so keep that in mind. In first place, we're not really getting much better in terms of reliability. We're slightly better, but not by too much. It's the 20 Celica, the Toyota Celica GT 7th generation. Again, another car that over here on the Mark Roden channel, we show love to it, but everybody else, I feel like they just hate this bad boy. It comes with a 1.8-liter inline-4, making 170 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. Obviously, you know, front-wheel drive isn't as best, but it is more reliable than the RX-8. I know this isn't a reliability rating list, but obviously, you know, a cool car is a running car, so that's why we're talking about it so much. But the only downside is it does have less horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. Breaking its way into the top 20, like Franklin, Michael, and Trevor, is the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. This one people do show love to on their channels. Everybody loves the 3000 GT, and it is just a overall pretty good car. Car comes with a 3-liter V6 making 170 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. If that sounds similar, that's because that's the exact same horsepower and drivetrain as the Celica GT we just talked about. So I put this one spot higher because first of all, I like the looks of the 3K GT a lot better. It does have a V6, which I think is slightly better. And it is just around the same amount of reliability. It's going to be just as unreliable as the 7th gen Celica will be. Coming in at 19th place is you know, you're gonna have to hear me out. We actually don't talk about this one a lot on the Mark Roden channel for a lot of reasons. It's the Honda S2000, and the reason why we usually don't talk about the S2K over here on the old Mark Roden channel is because it's a little expensive. The car comes with a 2.2-liter inline-4 making 237 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. It's reliable, it's rear-wheel drive, it looks good, it's got tons of aftermarket support for it, it's a Honda, everything about it is great. So why is it all the way down here at the number 19 spot? It's going to be very, very hard to find one of these under $10,000. It can be done. It can be done. There are so many stories of people doing it. It's possible, but you got to be really patient and really quick too. 18th place falls under the same boat, but it's going to be slightly easier, and it's just more modern, and I honestly cannot believe I'm saying this, but I do think it's a better deal than the S2000 nowadays. The Subaru BRZ ZN6, or the first generation of the Subaru BRZ. This thing comes with a 2-liter flat 4, making 200 horsepower on the dot, and it is rear-wheel drive. Now, a lot of people like to make fun of this car for having low horsepower, and that is low, but it's only 37 horsepower less than the S2000, and it weighs even less than the S2000. So it's obviously going to put that power to better use. And again, it is easier to find this under 10K. It's still going to be hard. Like, these cars are still, you know, I would say on average right around the $13,000, $15,000 mark. So you're going to have to be patient, and again, just like the S2000, going to have to be fast, but it can be done. Coming in at the wonderful number 17 spot, my favorite spot in the whole wide world, it's the Honda Prelude 5th generation. I talked about the 4th gen relatively recently in my favorite JDM cars ever. So today we're talking about the 5th gen because I always go back and forth on which one I like better. This one comes with a 2.2-liter inline-4 making 200 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. But I mean, it's pretty basic self-explanatory information right there. Now, it is obviously a Honda, so it's going to be really reliable. So you might be like, well, why is it not higher? Because these cars love to build power. The problem with the Preludes is they came with F-Series motors, and they're not as good as something like the B-Series or K-Series. Coming in at the number 16 spot, however, probably doesn't deserve to be this high, but I love it so much. It's the Mazda RX-7 FC. I love Mazda RX cars just in general. The FD RX-7 is my like absolute dream car, and so obviously, yeah, I'm going to show some love to the FC, even though it doesn't deserve this much love. The car comes with a 1.2 liter 2-rotor rotary engine making 160 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. It's just as unreliable, if not more unreliable, than the RX-8 we talked about earlier, and again, it does not belong at the number 16 spot, but it does have better performance than that car because it's so much lighter with such a smaller wheelbase, and that does go a long way. There's a reason why people love these freaking things. And just K-swap it, LS swap it, do whatever you want, but just don't keep the rotary in it. 15th place is another car that people usually just swap and is definitely overpriced right now, but still under 10K. The Nissan 240SX S13. A lot of people think that it's like literally impossible to find S chassis for less than 10K nowadays. That is just not the case. The car comes with a 2.4 liter inline 4 making 145 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. That is the KA, obviously. Everybody wants the SR. Again, the KA, most likely you're going to swap it out, but there are people out there that, you know, all the car really needs is like 300 horsepower. So you slap a turbo on a KA plus T, it'll do the job, you know. And at the end of the day, you get one of the better drift cars out there. It looks incredible. Everybody loves S chassis. It's going to grow in price if you keep good care of it. Like it's a good investment. Coming in at the number 14 spot is a car that I honestly don't know if it's a good investment. Every time I think about this car, I'm always like, it's the Toyota Supra Mark III. Like, I can't, like, part of me wants to say, yeah, it's going to go up in price. It's a JDM car. It has a Supra name on it. Like, obviously, it's going to go up in price. But then the other part of me is like, it hasn't yet. The car comes with a 2.5 liter inline 6, making 200 horsepower on the diddly dot, and it is rear wheel drive. It's actually a really good combination. The car is heavier than most 90s JDM cars, though. Keep that in mind. It's a longer wheelbase as well. There's a reason why people don't use these when instead of going for other things like, you know, S chassis, Hondas, whatever. It's just a little bit too large, but it does look really good. 13th position, and spoiler, this is the only Miata on this list, the Mazda Miata NC. The reason why we're going with the NC is because I just did a good, bad, and ugly on them, and I'm kind of liking them right now for some reason. I'm kind of like, ooh, the NC Miata, cool car. Pretty much any Miata belongs here. The car comes with a 2 liter inline 4, making 166 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. That's actually very good for a Miata. Almost 170 horsepower is obviously very good, but the downside is an NC Miata is the heaviest of all the Miatas. So keep that in mind. It's kind of like a payoff, but also not a payoff. It also looks the weirdest. People don't really care for how these looks that much, but I like them. I think they look okay. Coming in at number 12 spot is going to the Toyota MR2 SW20. Staying in the realm of very lightweight cars here for a second, because this thing weighs about 2 pounds, I want to say. The car comes with a 2.2 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Now that is Miata territory right there. 135 horsepower, that's the Miata we know and love, although this is not a Miata. It's a little bit heavier than them, but not by that much. It's still a very lightweight car, and obviously it has the added bonus of the mid-engine stuff. That's a flex, obviously, you know. Oh, I got mid-engine, look at me. Also, they are going to grow in price, and they're overall just a really cool looking car. They also have pop-up headlights, so that's something. Barely missing out on the old top 10 location is the only like true import on this list, the Nissan Safiro A31. We did not get these in the United States of America, so if you're going to buy one of them, they're going to be right-hand drive imported. The car comes with a 2 liter inline 4, making 141 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. This is the only true JDM car on this list. Every other car is technically USDM, but we just like to use the term JDM because it helps me get me views. Either way, the A31 Safiro is used all over the place, everywhere pretty much except for America, in terms of like a cheap tuner drift car, and there's a reason for that. Coming in at the number 10 spot, breaking its way into the top 10 as a matter of fact, is the Lexus SC300. Yes, you can find an SC300 for less than 10K. Everybody knows that, but you can also find a manual SC300 for less than 10K. Did you know that? Probably not. The car comes with a 3 liter inline 6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. I love SCs. You guys know that. I've always been a massive fan of them. There's pretty much no downside to an SC300 in my opinion. There's quite literally no downside, as a matter of fact. I'm trying to think of one, but there's nothing. Like, they're gonna grow in price. They're manual, they're rear wheel drive, they look incredible. They're a little large, they're definitely heavier than like most of the 90s JDM cars we're talking about, that's for sure, but it's okay because it's got a 2J. All right, guys, 9th place is the only little bit of a cheat code we got on here, because technically it's not JDM in any realm, except for unless you buy it in Japan, obviously. The Hyundai Genesis Coupe BK2. It's Asian, okay? I know it's South Korean, but it counts. The car comes with a 2 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 210 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. That's pretty good, obviously. And on top of that, this car does like to take a little bit of power. It's not as good, obviously, as something like a B series or something like that, but it does, you know, eat up a little bit, especially if you get the turbo model. That's why I put this one here, by the way. If you want to build power, get the 2.0T. If you want to just have power out of the gate, get the 3.2 liter, I think it is, or no, it's 3.6, right? Whatever it is, the V6. Coming in at the number 8 spot is such a gorgeous car, man. Every time I look at one of these, I'm like, it's the Nissan 300ZX Z32. I'm a big old Z boy, as you guys know. I had a 350Z. I love Zs, and the Z32 is just gorgeous. The car comes with a 3-liter V6, making 222 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Such a cool number, 222. Love that. Either way, it is obviously, everybody talks about how it's hard to work on. It's not the most reliable car out there, but it's worth it, man. The thing looks freaking awesome. You're gonna be the biggest baller, the biggest ball sack baller in the world. Coming in at the number 7 spot is, hey, look at that, it's my car, but not really, because it's cooler than my car. It's the Acura Integra GSR. I have the Acura Integra LS, and it's not that fast. The GSR might be slightly faster. The car comes with a 1.8-liter inline-4, making 170 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. My LS only has 140 horsepower, and it still feels really nippy around the corners. So this thing is probably an absolute blast to drive. I would be willing to place my 2 cents on that. On top of that, it does come with a B series. That's why it's so much higher than the Prelude we talked about earlier. Overall, it's just a really good car. The only downside is, I feel like people need to understand this, they're small cars. If you're a taller guy, you might not enjoy it that well, because I'm a taller guy, and sometimes I don't enjoy it that well. Coming in at the number 6 spot, however, dummy, is going to the Lexus IS300. Yes, you can find a factory manual IS300 for 10K still. Everybody thinks it's impossible, but it is not. It is very, very possible. There was one in the Bronx the other day I just saw, actually. The car comes with a 3-liter inline-6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. It's pretty much the same exact thing as the SD300 talked about earlier, but it's lighter with a shorter wheelbase, so it's just probably just going to be a better option. It won't be as easy to find a manual one, though, as the SD300. These cars are very rare in manuals. You have to be very patient, but it will be worth it once you get it. Also, I forgot to mention with the IS300, another bonus is that it does have 4 doors. Technically, the SC300 has 4 seats, but it's a coupe. So either way, 5th place is the Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX 2G. Yes, you can still find these under 10K, even in 2025. Probably going to be pretty tough, though. The car comes with a 2-liter turbo inline-4, making 210 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. I've said it multiple times on this channel before, but I'll say it again. It's a Pocket Evo. Okay, it's got a 4G63, it's all-wheel drive, it's a Pocket Evo, and it looks absolutely incredible. I love how the 2G Eclipse looks, and I'm not a big Eclipse guy. Like, I don't like the 3Gs or the 4Gs that well, or even the 1Gs, honestly, but the 2Gs, oof. Coming in at the number 4 spot, though, it's just not a list about JDM's cars if you're not talking about Honda Civics. So it's the Honda Civic SI 8th generation. I love the SI 8th gens, man. I've always have. They're freaking great cars. Like, come with K-Series. Like, that's obviously a pretty big plus right there. Get the sedan, though. I don't like the coupes. The car comes with a 2-liter inline-4, making 197 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. That's just all around good, and it's reliable, and it's a more modern car too, so it's going to be less likely to have like rust and stuff, whereas like obviously if you're buying an RSX, it's going to be more likely to have that. It's just overall just a really good car. I like them. They're a little heavy though for what you for a Civic. Coming in at the number 3rd spot, the bronze medal, 3rd place, whatever you want to call it, of this list is the Subaru WRX Blob-Eye. That's right, Blob-Eye. Blob-Eye is my favorite WRX, but technically the Hawkeye, Bug-Eye, Blob-Eye, even the Stink Eye you can find for under 10K nowadays are all pretty good options. WRXs in general. The car comes with a 2.5-liter turbocharged flat 4, making 225 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. They're okay for making power. They're okay in terms of reliability. They look good. They handle good. They have a short wheelbase. They're good for pretty much anything you want to do with them. Even, yes, drifting, if you just swap it to rear-wheel drive, it is possible to do that as well. And they're only growing in price. Every single freaking day, these cars get more and more expensive. They're going to be a wanted car, especially if you take good care of it. And coming in at 2nd place is a car that I was actually looking at before buying my Integra. I was looking at a ton of them. The Acura RSX Type S. This is also like the world's most rusted out car known to man, because every single one that I looked at was completely rotted out for some reason, so just be careful. The car comes with a 2-liter inline-4, making 201 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. What can I say that hasn't already been said about this car? It comes with a K-Series, just like the Civic that we were talking about earlier. It looks absolutely incredible. It handles absolutely incredibly. It has a ton of aftermarket support. It's cheap. It's reliable. It's easy to work on. Everything about the car is just checks all the boxes for a great, cheap JDM car. It is hard to find a good Type S, though. Just keep that in mind. But 1st place, you scallywags. What did you think I wasn't going to include it? Did you think I wasn't going to include my wonderful, my beloved Nissan 350Z? I love 350Zs, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I think that they genuinely are one of the best rear-wheel drive, manual, JDM, whatever you want to call it, anything, cars for less than $10,000. I just think they're one of the best cars for under $10,000. They come with a 3.5-liter V6, making 306 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That is the HR, and everybody's gonna be like, well, it's the HR, not the DE. You can find HRs for less than 10K, especially, it's not that hard to do. They're just absolutely great cars. I think they look great. They handle, well, they don't handle great. They're definitely on the heavier side, so keep that in mind. But they look great. They have 300 freaking horsepower. The VQ, it sounds bad. It's reliable as hell. And it's good at making some cheap power, especially if you get the HR. Like, it's just a great car, man, all around. There's no real downsides to the 350Zs, except for, I guess, the sound. Like, if you really don't like the sound that much, sure. I didn't mind it, though. I thought it sounded fine. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 22 best JDM cars. Manual JDM cars for less than $10,000. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Look at the ring. Look what he got me, guys. Look what he got me. He went to K's. Every kiss begins with K. But also, sorry in the last clip if you heard my dogs barking. They just like to do that sometimes. They're weird like that. They're just like out of nowhere for absolutely no reason. So sorry if you heard that. That's not nothing I could have nothing I could have done about it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know, what other videos would you guys like to see? Obviously, we're kind of in a little bit of a rhythm right now, where it's like we do a cheap cars list, and we do a top 25 cars list, and we do a good, bad, and ugly. Cheap cars list, 25 cars list, good, bad, and ugly. Cheap cars list, 25 cars list, good, bad, and ugly. But let me know if you guys would like to see anything else while we're waiting. I really am trying to get like a new project car to start building up, because I'm pretty much done with the Integra. I don't really have anything else I want to do with the Integra. There's like, everybody's all like, well, turbo it, do this, blah, 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 but it's my daily. And I know everybody's like, well, they're reliable, they can handle it. I get it, but I don't want to make it any less reliable than it already is. Like, I just don't want to take that risk, because if that breaks, I have absolutely nothing to drive, guys. Like, I'm stranded. And I was just thinking, we'll get an Uber. I live in the middle of nowhere. Ubers do not exist over here. We don't get Uber Eats or DoorDash or any of that stuff either. It's freaking frustrating. So, like, if that breaks, I'm literally screwed. Like, 100%. And it was winter. Like, we have winter up here. I don't want to work on a car in the freezing cold. You guys get it, I hope. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.